Hello world, you're watching 80s Music Twin Ranked. What is this, video number 9 or something like that?
It's our 10th video,
10th
but
video?
not our 10th band, because I had that here.
Yes, and
an intro.
And going, when we included bands with deaths, which we're going to switch up what we're doing next week because of the death of Charlie Watts. It'll be our second time we've done that. We had Dusty Hill before with ZZ Top.
So next week we'll do Rolling Stones. Although, for the people watching the video, they're like, you recorded it 6 months ago.
That's true. I keep mentioning stuff like that then.
Yeah. Same with when you talk about, can you guess what we're going to do next week? Well, they can see the title every time, so they know.
Unless they don't know what order we went in. Anyways, I'm Joel, this is Chris.
Right.
We're twins, that's why it's called Twin Ranked, in case you haven't guessed.
And we're ranking 80s music because we think it's
although it's 80s bands who also have hits
in the 70s and the
90s, depending how long they've been at it. Rolling Stones, we're going to have some from the 60s. They're still going, I guess.
I don't.
Minus Charlie Watts.
I heard he has not been touring with them. He had some other drummer because he had health issues before he passed away.
And I heard Mick Jagger just turned 80.
Yeah. How are they? Okay. It's like our politicians. You know what? Just retire already.
Like, how do we have a big list of 80s musicians that have died. Yeah. How are the Rolling Stones the few that are still going? And the Led Zeppelin people, Robert Plant is still going.
Yeah, Jimmy Page.
These guys, I have a feeling the drugs they took back then somehow are
helping
him. Maybe even
Pete Townsend, how is he even still playing when he came in here?
Yeah.
And interesting enough, last week we did Rush. We're doing REO Speedwagon today, and next week will be Rolling Stones. So there's 3 R's in a row. That's kind of interesting.
Kind of. We didn't plan that, but there you go. And last week I told you the band we're doing today, their name is a car, and he just said it's REO Speedwagon, but the car was actually pronounced REO Speedwagon.
Right.
And what was that, a station wagon?
I didn't have it, so I think it was a station wagon.
I think it was a station wagon too. I don't know that I've ever seen a picture of it. And it didn't last very long. It's like the Etzel. But, so we're doing REO Speedwagon. Interestingly, we actually went to a Journey tribute concert last week here.
Right after we did our Journey.
1 week after we did Journey, didn't know we were going. We were invited to this tribute band.
And after the Journey tribute concert, we talked about Rolling Stones.
And then he died a couple days later. So coincidental.
Yes. We have supernatural powers.
No, but we meant, the guy mentioned, the lead singer mentioned that Steve Perry specifically, they were only doing Steve Perry's, and we mentioned that 7 of their 14 albums were with Steve Perry.
Right.
What I didn't know about REO Speedwagon until I looked into the history is that Kevin Cronin was not the lead singer on every single album they had. They had 2 singers prior to them going with a lot of hits with Kevin Cronin. The very first album, called REO Speedwagon, way back in 1971, had a guy named Terry
Rutzel.
Luttrell, I think.
Now you forget.
It could be Terrell.
It doesn't matter. He's not famous.
Terry. He didn't
One
have
of those
any
guys
hits.
who quit the band before they.
He did. He quit the band, and then they hired Kevin Cronin for one album, REO 2. And yeah, they're not like Chicago. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've been talking about lazy writing. That's lazy.
They could have kept doing it. REO 3, REO 4, REO 5.
They had REO 2, and Kevin Cronin was in that one. No hits again. Now, technically, the first album had a song called "Sophisticated Lady," and it charted, just not in the 100. It said Billboard 122. I listened to it. Interestingly, I listened to it on the Hits album way back when. Didn't even realize it wasn't Kevin Cronin at the time I was listening to it. Probably because I didn't care what song list because I didn't know it. So Kevin Cronin on number 2 doesn't have any hits. There was a argument, I think, between him and Gary Richrath,
Right.
who was one of the founding members.
Yeah, oh yeah,
And-
we didn't mention the Gary is the band member who has passed away.
Yeah,
He was a
so we did.
guitarist.
We had pass. Now he didn't pass away recently. That's not why we're doing REO Speedwagon right now. Unlike Charlie Watts, that's why we're doing Rolling Stones next week. But he's the only band member that has died from REO Speedwagon. He was a founding member, I think.
And also
Doty,
he
the keyboardist, was.
You said last week that the lead singer, and you're talking about Kevin Cronin, now looks like a grandmother with his
Not
silver
always.
hair.
I
and
actually
it's long and curly.
I watched
yeah.
a YouTube video where he came out to the microphone, and when he talked about what song he was going to do,
Right.
which was "Keep on Loving You" or
Yeah, so he looks like the
And
granny
he-
from Little Red Riding Hood.
something like that. His talking before this, and then when he went, "Heard it from a friend," I'm like, "Yikes!" So.
And I saw him play the piano for "Keep on Loving You."
Yes, and
So I didn't know he played an instrument.
I did. I saw a whole
Because
concert.
if you watch there was 2 versions of the 2 videos for I Can't Fight This Feeling.
Okay.
There was the one where it had the guy and the kind of the history, and there's one where they're in the studio. When they're in the studio at the beginning, they have another guy. He's standing
Right.
singing while there's another guy
Right.
playing the piano. So I just assumed he didn't play an instrument.
Okay, so where were we? So after that second album, him and Gary apparently had an argument, and Kevin Cronin leaves the band, come back with a guy named Mike Murphy for 3 albums. That would be Ride in the Storm Out, Lost in a Dream, This Time We Mean It.
Yeah, you guys know those albums, right?
Yeah, again, no hits. Although you're like, well, what about Riding the Storm Out? Well, they put it out, but it didn't chart.
Yeah.
But it did chart. After Mike Murphy left, Kevin Cronin came back for the third time they just used
Yeah,
REO in their
if you
title.
hear that song on the radio, if you would notice, every time you hear the song on the radio, it's the live version.
Right, and so that's Kevin Cronin doing the single live after he came back. And that was on their album called...
Because you don't have a live album.
I know.
up there, so.
Dang it, I think about it later. So, but after...
Just look it up.
Right, just look up their live album, right? Something with Play It. So their next album is the one that has the bigger hits. And the one they definitely get played nowadays, although they weren't big back then. They only hit around the 50s. Roll with the Changes and Time for Me to Fly.
Right.
And Time for Me, I would have assumed Time for Me to Fly was on the same album as Ryan and the Storm Out because they're similar. So that was on the You Can Tune a Piano, but you can't tune a fish.
And it's got a fish with a tuning fork in its
I
mouth.
wonder why that album wouldn't have sold much. Horrible. Yeah, people probably like, I really like that song. As soon as they see the picture of it, they're like, nah, I won't buy that. Wait for the next one, the hits, greatest hits. So they did have, and even Roll the Changes, as good of a song as that is, it didn't do good. I don't know what the deal is. So you wonder, a lot of times I'm looking at these records that didn't do good, and you wonder if they would have put that song out, they would have did really good. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if you're picking up.
Well, I
singles.
told you I got a box set and it had you can't tune a
You can tune a
you
piano.
can't tune a fish, and it's got 5 other albums. And I said I listened to them, and the only songs that I thought were any good out of all the previous 4 albums, I love Wheels Are Turning, but the other 4 albums, the only songs that were good are the ones they put out.
So it's like maybe they did pick the right songs, but you wonder why didn't they do good if that song is so good? Yeah, and then 9 Lives. What'd that have on it? Nothing. They had 2 singles, and I don't think they charted.
Right.
And somehow that's it. And when you include the live album, that's their 9th album. But that's not their 9th studio album, but it's called 9 Live.
Yeah, it's not like they didn't say let's wait till the next album before we put the good songs out. They didn't do that. They're making songs they were hoping they'd be singles.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And I heard when they got to High Infidelity, that they actually changed their style. So I don't know if that's true. If you had that song, was there a difference
Rolling
between
the Changes? I would say that sounds like
similar to
a lot of songs they put out later.
But that's what I read, and I'm like, I don't see a difference.
Time for Me to Fly, I would consider sort of like I Can't Fight That Feeling.
Yeah.
This feeling.
Now I would
on
say
loving you.
this. I would say once you get past High Infidelity, their music seems to have changed. I don't see a similarity between the Tuna album or High Infidelity.
The Tuna album.
High Infidelity.
So they should have called it the Tuna album.
That's right. It might have done better. Actually, get rid of that picture with the fish. So, but the Wheels Are Turning does not sound like there's stuff on High Infidelity.
Right.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And I know they had a bass player that changed. He changed right after Kevin Cronin's first album. They had a guy named Greg Philbin, I think. And then they got Bruce Hall right after Kevin Cronin's first album. So there you go, it's like Journey was going all over the place with their band members, so was REO. But that's the five that I like, is once they got Bruce Hall into the band, that's the music that we listen to. And 1980, that's when they had their two biggest hits. Take It On the Run was their very first #1 hit.
Right.
Right, and then Keep On Loving You only got to #5.
Yeah, the album also had In Your Letter, which is hardly ever played on the radio.
No, and it's almost like a silly song.
Yeah.
So if you look at our chart, they actually started in 1971, and then their two biggest hits come down in 1980. So we had a full decade of really mediocrity, I would say. Other than Roll the Changes was good, but it wasn't a hit.
Yeah.
So yeah, they had to really get into the 80s. So you got a 70s band, that stuff comes out in the 80s.
I didn't read anywhere where the label that had them was going to drop them. Previous bands that we've done, it was like they were going to drop them if they didn't, and then suddenly the next album did really well. I didn't read that from any of these albums.
Maybe they weren't getting paid that much.
Yeah.
We're not losing anything on this band. Now, High Infidelity, I will give this. It's their biggest selling album. Okay? It's not our favorite, though.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a minute. But I would say those two songs have their best guitar solos. Those two hits, Take It On the Run and Keep On Loving You, definitely have their best two guitar solos in the middle. Today people are like, what's a guitar solo?
When I heard, Take It On the Run begins, heard it from a friend who, heard it from a friend who, heard it from a friend who. When I first heard that, not knowing the song, when I was young, I thought he was just repeating a phrase until he got to the next thing. I didn't realize he was saying, I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend. I was just like, heard it from a friend who. Wait, repeat. Heard it from a friend who. Repeat. I just thought he was.
And you know what? When he's sitting in the studio, maybe he had it written out that way. Repeat.
Yeah. That's the way I took it. Because, you hear these songs now, it's like they'll repeat a phrase over and over, and usually it's he's gonna do the strap. It's my cat. But yeah, so I just didn't understand what it was saying there. So it's hearsay, is what.
That's funny. You could actually. I mean, maybe that game didn't exist back then. The song is called "Take It On the Run."
Yeah.
With that lyric, it could have been called "Telephone" because that's what
telephone
is. Tell this person something. He repeats it to him.
And by the
time he gets back, it's something totally different. Yeah.
Like Johnny Dangerously. When at the end, he knows what they say. He goes, "I know this line."
Oh, okay. I don't remember that from that movie, but I remember it on Three's Company, an '80s show. So
70s, man.
And again, so 2 years later, they have an album called Good Trouble. And that, to me, it goes back up with the other stuff. It's mediocre again. It had a song called Keep the Fire Burning. Had another song called Sweet Time. It charted, and I don't remember ever hearing it. But
You listen to it and still like, I don't know this.
you know what? Before I knew what "Roll with the Changes" was, you know, he in the chorus, it's like "Keep on burn" or
Like,
keep on rolling,
keep
keep
the
on
fire.
rolling.
When I heard "Keep the Fire Burning,"
I used
thought
to think it was "Roll with the."
Yeah, I thought those two songs really sounded similar. Although "Roll with the Changes" is the
Right.
superior version, I think.
Yeah. Now you'll notice we've already mentioned it. I forgot to mention the very first hit they had was called "Keep Pushing." They have 3 songs that start with the word "keep." Keep pushing, keep on loving you. And what's the other one?
Keep the fire burning.
Keep the fire burning. And if you listen to "Roll with the Changes," the chorus is "Keep on roll." They like that
Like
word.
the word, yeah. They also, there's a lot of titles that have the word "don't" in it too.
Yeah.
They just want you to stop doing.
You know what?
There's something they just want you to stop doing. Don't do that.
Yeah. Coming up with
Don't let him go.
lyrics and
I don't want to know.
lyrics and titles are hard to come up with, right? Now, granted, when I wrote my fake album, I was in my teens.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna be very dumb on what you put down.
Your vocabulary is small.
Yeah. So okay, 1984, our new chart. That's the top album, "Wheels Are Turning." That
That's
would be
my
our
favorite. Yeah, our favorite album, and we always tell you the best year of music was 1985. This came out in 1984, but a lot of songs were released in 1985. You know what? This is probably our favorite album also because it has the most music videos. When we talk
Yes.
about bands,
Yeah.
they seem to go from here to here when they put music videos out in the
So
80s.
they had 4 songs from this album released. 2 songs came out in 84. 2 songs came out in 85. And both were similar in per year because the first song they put out was I don't want to know, which
Phil Collins had on his album No Jacket Required.
that came afterwards, but it was
Yeah, but he had a different spelling. It didn't put. I think it was want to, not
Right.
wanna, right?
and not I do. It's I don't.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like I don't want to know. It's a good video. I like the video.
It's got the devil in
You
it.
get the devil in it. As a matter of fact, they're making it look like you're going to hell based on the things you do that are bad. That is not the case. Might as well throw this in there. The gospel says you just need to believe on Jesus Christ
Right.
to go to heaven. So all that to say, the video's wrong about that.
No, but
aspect.
I
It's
like
a funny
really, and I
video.
really like. It's the very first song on their Wheels Are Turning album.
Right.
And Gary Richrath, his intro to that song, does 3 different specific guitar parts that aren't the same. So
And it's first song on the
then they have
CD
like
as well.
it has after that it has 2 guitar solos
Yeah.
later.
But it's the first song on that CD, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's good. Yes, that's pretty good. And you got the drums in there
Yeah.
too. So and then their second number 1 hit of their career, "I Can't Fight This Feeling."
First one was "Keep on Loving You," right?
Yes. Or no.
Or not?
Take It on the Run.
Take It on the Run was
Actually,
number 1. I would think.
No, Keep on Loving You.
I would think "Keep on Loving You." I think
Yeah.
that's like.
I switched it when I first said it. So it's
Yeah, Keep on Loving You is like they would say their best hit, popular, like, single. I don't know. It could be a tie with "I Can't Fight This Feeling."
Yeah, so similar to Journey, REO is known for a lot of slow songs. I wouldn't call them, the tribute band called Journey's power ballads. I don't know that REO has power to their ballads. The long, skinny, curly-haired guy, Steve Perry, looks like he's ready to fight you. So one didn't. The first single didn't do good. Then they have a number 1 hit. Then the following year, they put out One Lonely Night, which is their second
It's
best.
a short song too. It's like
Second
the
best.
shortest on the album, I think.
I love that song.
Only like 3
I
minutes.
love the video
10
that comes
seconds
with it.
or
You got
something.
the night,
The night.
going on the top.
Yeah, "One Lonely Night." You think it's talking, it's night outside. No, it's "One Lonely Night." It's a night KNIG.
You know what? I didn't get that.
In the video, you didn't get it. He's lonely. He had a significant other at the beginning of the video.
No, I never realized that. but I do love the lyrics on that song. You know, what's the chorus? It's like,
One lonely night.
Yeah.
One lonely night.
but I like to say it's like, ooh,
Oh,
just
that part.
yeah. She's one
such a good
million.
find. She's
Such a good find. Have you gone and lost your mind? Yeah, I like how some rhymes are really good. And they make a song. That to me, that's their best slow song. Better than I Can't Fight This Feeling.
Yeah.
And then they put out Live Every Moment,
which was a
live
concert video, sort of.
And I like live out their live ones in particular. They did it twice. That way, then Variety Tonight. And the second time he had the mustache, which is weird. But I like seeing the stage set up for particular bands. Unlike most bands who put the drums in the center and then the other people standing around him, his drum's always off on the side. Keyboardist on the other side.
I like what the keyboardist does in that song. He just
yeah, Live Every Moment.
Yeah, he does that, and I don't know if you ever heard the Wheels Are Turning album.
Yeah.
The song Wheels Are Turning, when they go into the solo for the piano, he kind of does a little Billy Joel thing because he's doing really fast.
Okay.
Like Billy Joel's intro to Angry Young Man. It's kind of.
I haven't heard Wheels Are Turning in a while.
Yeah, because it's not a guitar solo, it's a piano solo. It's like, holy cow, how are they playing that fast?
It's only 9 songs. They could have easily put a 5th song out. That would have done really good.
Yeah, and I the second song is Through the Window. I like that song really good. It's like 5.5 minutes long, but still. Drums are pretty good on it too.
Yeah. So, and I like watching Alan Gratzer on that Live Every Moment. He's got that part where he goes, do-do, 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 and then he's got it from his perspective with the camera. So, yeah. Now you're like, well, I had music on MTV.
Yeah, so I bought that album, and you bought the next album.
A Life As You Know It, which came 3 years later.
Right.
To me, it didn't do as well, which means that is one of their most underrated albums.
And you didn't I bought the cassette, you bought the
record. I went backwards. I was still buying records. In 1987, I was still buying records, yes. And I like Variety Tonight again. That one it wasn't a hit. It was on the radio, but it wasn't a hit. How did that not do good?
I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, and In My Dreams was another slow song. Of course, that one did good. That Ain't Love was their first song to come out on the album.
Yeah, the only thing I remember about that album is the car crashing into the other one, trying to leave the storm. I think it was a big tent everybody's under, and then it started raining, and they try to leave.
You're talking about in the video?
The video, yeah.
It's an okay video. And Life As We Know It is not as memorable as Wheels Are Turning.
Yeah.
Video-wise even, too. It's still an underrated album.
Got a lot of good songs, though.
Yeah. And then very next year, they came out with their hits, just like Billy Joel again and ZZ Top.
They had
two more new songs on it.
Right.
Here With Me, I would call that one a power ballad, because you can feel a crescendo during that song. And I bought that one in cassette.
I Don't Want to Lose You, or?
Yeah, I Don't Want to Lose You was their other one, which didn't chart. Said it came out as a single. You remember hearing it. I don't remember hearing it on the radio. Didn't chart, but I put it because it's supposedly a hit. 2 years later, their last charting song is called Love Is a Rock, which I actually, when you listen to that, you're like, that's pretty good. But you know what? They lost a few band members. I think their drummer left before that. Gary didn't die yet. I forget who else left. He might have been the only one to leave. But here we go, back with bad album titles, right? First you got the Tuna Fish one. Now you've got The Earth, A Small Man, A Dog, and a Chicken. Who's coming up with these album titles?
Yeah, I mean, I had that in a conversation. Oh, you know my favorite album in there is this? What?
What? The Earth?
The Earth, A Small Man, A Dog, and a Chicken.
Yeah, so
sounds like a punchline joke.
But it's because it's because they lost their drummer,
right.
Replaced him, and even Life As We Know It wasn't as good of a seller as the previous one. So
I'm thinking maybe they, some band members probably had kids and like, what do you want to call this album? The kid would come up with that.
they're getting older. Like I'm out of stuff. I'm out of ideas by now. Then I just listed these three below the line because it's like insignificant.
Yeah, the last one is a Christmas album, Not So Silent Night.
And can you imagine him singing some Christmas songs?
No, I can't at all.
What are they? Christian band? Everyone wants to be a Christian band, but find some way to milk that.
Yeah.
So, and that was over a decade ago. They're still touring. Saw a video where they were actually playing at an amusement park with Styx. Styx was on first. Then REO Speedwagon second.
Yeah, they've been touring with Styx for a while.
So that's what you got to do instead of going on, Universal tours. You just had an amusement park. Come see us. We're not coming to see you anymore. So that's their history. So by and large, you're probably looking at 5 albums that we're going to have the hits off of, just because most of the other stuff is mediocre.
No, but most people know when you say REO Speedwagon, most people know who that band is.
Yeah. So I'll tell you this though. So with saying mediocre a lot about this band, you have this listed as your 4th best band, and that's where one album jumps out at you and it can create the whole.
Yeah, I own that album.
career.
I listen to it a lot. So
Yeah. So
I bought it like 3 times because I lost the. I had it as a CD and I lost it. I had it as a cassette. Then the cassettes went out and you play it and you can't hear it, so you can buy. I bought the CD, and then I had I have this a lot where I have the case. I can't find the album anymore, so I rebought it, and then I bought a box set and it had it in there, so now I have 2 copies of it. So, but I listened to it a lot.
right. So we got so your number 1 was Billy Joel.
Right.
Okay, and you had an Innocent Man. He's got a lot of hits on that one. Then you liked Phil Collins, and did you ever?
No Jacket Required was my first one.
Okay, and then we had Huey Lewis's number 3.
And I had Sports.
You had Huey Lewis's 3. You had Sports, and then REO Speedwagon.
Wheels of Trinity. Right.
So that's it, basically
It's everything. I like it if I owned it.
Yeah. So now I didn't even have REO in my top 10. Right after my top 10, I had ZZ Top at number 11, and then REO Speedwagon. So I still have them up there in the top 12, but not quite as high as you.
Right.
All right. Okay. So we totally forgot about this. Been hitting bands that have movie stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I had totally forgot REO Speedwagon, and I think it was before they got good. So even before High Infidelity. There's a movie called FM, so it's focusing on FM radio.
Okay.
And they apparently, as a group, have a part in that.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of bands do. There's a clip on YouTube, and the one I saw had Tom Petty in it.
This is Martin Mull, is it?
I think so.
Okay, you know who?
Margot Kidder, I think, is in it.
Yeah, but there. I don't know. Do we have Steely Dan in our list at all to do?
No, but
You didn't put it on there, but they have a song called FM. I believe it's from that movie.
Oh, okay.
I never saw that on any of their albums. So
I didn't know, and I didn't consider it before. I put it on hold at the library. We're going to watch it next week.
Yeah, I saw a couple parts.
I don't know that it's a good movie.
No, there's a couple bad parts actually in it though.
Okay, so you've seen it?
No.
Oh.
No, I've only
heard about it.
Clips. So.
Okay. But as far as songs go, they do have a song from the movie The Goonies, which Steven Spielberg produced it.
Yeah.
He didn't direct it, right?
Right.
Who directed? Joe Dante or somebody?
I want to say Robert Zemeckis, maybe. I'm not sure.
Could be. Yeah, I think probably was somebody famous, and I should know, but yeah. But so they sang a song off of The Goonies, and The Goonies had a lot of actually songs from that movie. I don't remember exactly who sings the title song, but I know Cyndi Lauper has a song.
No, with The Goonies, I am not nostalgic for that movie because I never saw it when I was a kid. I just saw it 2 years ago.
I saw it
for the first time.
I saw it when I was a kid. I heard there was a big thing about it.
Josh Brolin was really young.
Me and Tracy tried to watch it, and it was wasn't good.
Yeah, I did. That's why I said I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't watch it when I was a kid. If I watched it when I was a kid, I'd have nostalgic.
I watched it when I was a
feelings
kid.
for
It didn't
Oh.
make me think of anything.
Well, there are a lot of movies where we watch them now as adults. We're like, why did we like that?
That'd be one of them. But the REO's song never charted. I'm not even sure I ever heard it on the radio, but they did
What's it
do
called?
a song.
You don't remember
I don't
the title?
know. Something. It's got the word "ain't" in it. It's about all I know. There's one, and I listened to it. I'm like,
Yeah, and as far as I can see, I couldn't find any song where Weird Al did a parody for REO.
But he did do a parody for the Rolling Stones. Y'all hear next week. Or not really Rolling Stones, but Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
All right. So to our top 10. Okay, let's first do our honorable mentions. And again, I've noticed this. More of my songs get cut from the top 10 than yours. Somehow you picked the right ones. I don't know.
I don't know. See, you can't blame me for it because you're putting the list together.
That's
so.
right. It's weird how that happens.
It's like if you change it to where your list is on there better than mine, am I gonna really know?
No, you wouldn't. Altering the way I rank them just so mine can get on there, right? No, I don't do that.
You could.
So,
I'm just saying.
I know. So the only one of your top 10 that didn't make it was In My Dreams, which comes from Life as We Know It. You had that chart at number 8, didn't make it. And the one I had that didn't make it came from Wheels Are Turning. Live Every Moment. You told me, I think last week, you thought it was boring. You were just talking about good parts in it.
Maybe repetitive.
Repetitive, could be. But it looks like
I don't think I said boring. I think I used
repetitive.
another word, but
Repetitive.
that's not the word I used either. But I can't remember what word I used.
But I think if you were at a concert, that'd be one of the more hopping songs to clap to or whatever. And I had that at number 6.
You know the weird thing about that song, and I've heard other songs that have done this, is you'd think when you get to the chorus, that's when it gets and live every moment. How did you go down from the verses? I don't understand.
It does get better at the end of the song. Live every moment.
Oh, yeah,
It's
okay,
better
well.
at the end, but not at the chorus.
Yeah, you get to the chorus and it actually slows down, gets soft.
I know there's songs that do that. That's funny. I think I remember reading an article. Now I got a different band. Somebody said they didn't like Broken Wings. It hit number 1 for Mr.
Right.
And somebody said they didn't like it because it never came to a crescendo.
No, it stays like this the whole time.
Does every song need to come to a crescendo to be number 1? And it does. When you get to the guitar, it sounds like a crescendo. It goes da-na-na-na-na, over and over. But I mean, that was the first time we did that, and it's crescendo. Anyway. Top 10 for REO. Alright, those are our honorable
Unless we got
mentions.
another rabbit trail.
Those were our honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10. So, number 10, coming from High Infidelity, is Keep On Loving You, their first number 1 hit.
Surprised it's not higher.
I had this at number 10. You had it 9, so we do agree it needs to be done.
I know, but I'm actually, in my mind, I'm surprised it's as high as it is in the world.
Right.
Give me a hair on
That's one of the reasons we're doing our rankings, because sometimes the world's wrong. Everyone, if we agreed with you, we don't be wrong.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, look, I got the shirt.
Oh, okay.
That you said, I'd agree with you, but then we both be wrong.
There you go.
So I got the shirt.
Okay, so number 9 comes from their hits. So again, song I don't remember being on the radio, but because of and I'll throw this out there. Every band we've done so far, we've picked our top 10 off of at minimum 20 songs. All these groups have at least 10 songs to pick from. So we're not getting to the bands yet that have 10 songs, and it's basically rearranging them.
Yeah, we'll get to those. Well, there's some people that we have, they're not even on our list, but if we get through this entire list, which would be like a couple of years from now, we'll do some bands who only have 5 hits.
Yeah. Okay, so number 10, I just mentioned. It's and I don't have this, I don't remember hearing it, so I had it at number 13 because of that. But you actually have this at number 4, surprisingly. as good as Wheels Are Turning is, and I don't remember the song ever. I Don't Want to Lose You had up that
I'm going to
high.
tell you to go listen to it again. It's really
Well, I got the hit, so I know, but it's just like, really? Do you rank something you don't think you've ever heard on the radio? So I don't know.
So my argument's been this whole time on the previous list.
I know.
Like, I didn't know. I didn't hear it. I didn't recognize it.
Okay, so number 8, our second high infidelity song. And it's not in your letter. You're not ranking that. I have this as number 7. So I have this one ranked higher than Keep On Loving You.
Right. So take it.
You have it lower than Keep On Loving You by 1. So you have it number 10. That's Take It On the Run. For number 7, Life as We Know It. It had That Ain't Love. That's their first song on. No, it's actually their second song on the album. It starts with A New Kind of Love. That's the first song on that album. I don't know if you know that or not.
It's the first single that was released.
First single that was released, yes. I had this at number 8. You had this at number 7. So we're in agreement there too. Number 6, their second number 1 hit. I Can't Fight This Feeling. I had this way down to number 9. You had it at number 5.
Right, and this would be the world's 1 or 2. Depending on if they pick this or Keep On Loving You, those would be right there.
And you know, we were in high school at the time this came out. I'm surprised, you know,
I don't think this would
by
be
the time
one
we
of
got
the
to prom, people would be like voting for that song to be the theme.
Well, the guy who said played all the instruments, I'm surprised he didn't play this song. Because he used a new piano.
That's, yeah. And REO, this is one of the few bands, you know, we're ranking a lot of the songs, the slow ones don't make our list. REO, at least half of their songs are slow, so they have to make the list.
Well, yeah, and I Can't Fight This Feeling is probably the song I hear from them the most on the radio.
I even hear a shortened version of it.
Yeah.
They leave the third chorus out of it after the interlude, which is dumb. That song's not even that long.
I never hear I don't want to know. Never hear that at all.
Well, even their other bigger hit, One Lonely Night.
Yeah.
Okay, here, radio stations, please
Play
good
something
songs.
else.
When we get to our top 5, I don't know that. Well, maybe not all of them, but most of them aren't played on the radio. Play the good ones, all right? We're telling you, I Can't Fight This Feeling's number 6. Play the others. All right, number 5, I just mentioned, One Lonely Night. And again, I Can't Fight This Feeling, if you're basing it on videos, I Can't Fight This Feeling might not even be in the top 10. Because One Lonely Night's way better.
Yeah, this is the only song I remember of theirs that has an acoustic guitar playing. It's how intros with an acoustic guitar, really.
Yeah. Well, Live
I don't know any
Live
other
Every
song.
Moment's a faster song. It's an acoustic guitar all the way through.
Yeah.
But I had this at number 3. That's how high I rank it. But you had it at number 11, not even in your top 10. Okay, next one up is also a slow song. It's their power ballad. Number 4 would be Here With Me from their hits. And I had this at number 5. You had this at number 6. So we're thinking a lot of these songs we're thinking similar. Okay, top 3. Roll With the Changes, the only song coming from the Tuna album. Forever calling that the Tuna album.
That's what we're going to call it from now on, the Tuna album.
I have this at number 2. So there's only one other song I believe that beats this one. You have this as number 3. And your top 3 songs are our top 3 songs. So, so you have that at number 3, at number 3. Number 2 is the one we like that didn't do good for some reason from Wheels of Turning. I Don't Want to Know. Should have been a hit. You know, it's got all the things there. It's got good keyboards in it. Good, nice, fast-paced song.
And a good video.
Good guitar. Nice, yeah, good video. Back when bands were willing to look silly. At least, I don't know, was that guy who dressed up weird part of the band or no?
Probably. I think everybody in every single
One of them
that
played
could
somebody
cancel it.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sure all the band members were in the video, so.
Was Kevin Cronin trying to be God or just an angel?
I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't seen the video in a while.
We're down to our number 1 song. Can you guess what it is? Possibly not, because it was an underrated song
And it didn't chart.
from an underrated album.
Yeah.
And we can have a list of top 10 of underrated
Yeah.
songs. Underrated albums. There's a lot of underrated albums.
But it had a video. They were live on stage. I remember the backup.
I like the ending. If he goes,
singers.
he goes back and forth between saying Variety Tonight every other time. It's Variety Tonight. Or he does something unusual.
So you gotta tell a title now, you just...
Variety, it's Variety Tonight.
Variety Tonight.
But he goes back and forth. That's from Life as We Know It. My number one. So it's number one? Go to me. No.
Number two?
You're number two.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know higher. So that's our list. And for all you guys who want to do first time hearing, there's your two songs. Pick from I Don't Want to Know or Variety Tonight.
Yeah.
Do a first
now,
time
if you said it's your first time hearing, I would believe that.
Yes, because they don't play it.
Yeah.
On the radio.
Yeah, those people that tell Collins I don't care anymore, I don't believe you.
Right. For sure, these two songs need to be on the radio today.
Yeah.
Just so people can say, who's that?
Under classic, yeah. They should.
They'll be like, really? REO Speedwagon didn't? They're not a one-hit wonder because that's what you made it out to be. Actually, they do play roll with the changes every now and then, and I can't fight this feeling. The two,
I hear
two songs from High Fidelity, right? So they're not a one-hit wonder, but they don't play the best. Play the best, which is Variety Tonight, and I Don't Want to Know.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week for our third band starting with the letter R.
Right.
And Rush last week.
Rolling Stones.
REO Speedwagon this week. Rolling Stones next week.
Yeah.
All because in honor of Charlie Watts dying, or honoring death, I guess.
Not honoring his death here. No, it's commemorating. His life.
Okay, we'll commemorate. Even though we're possibly going to have Mick Jagger songs in the top 10 because he veered off onto a solo career as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, I told you
happens.
Keith Richards also had an album. When I was going to college in 1990, around 1990, he had a song called Wicked As It Seems, but you didn't recognize it at all, so that's probably not even on there, but we could have put that too. I liked
Did
it.
anything chart?
No, but I liked it.
That would be why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We know there's going to be a lot of movie talk next week.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was Charlie Watts in any movies? He's the one.
They were all in documentaries at least, because
the
Rolling Stones had a few of those.
That's true.
So anyways, next week,
Rolling Stones. Bye.